So I think the most important thing to say about Bitcoin and blockchain is that it is a decentralized technology. And why do I think it's so important? Because we've all been through that when the internet came out. So the internet was not the first communication network. There were actually many before it. There was like CompuServe and AOL and Prodigy, a lot of communication network. The internet was the first decentralized communication network. Can you put it on? So it was the first decentralized one, meaning that there is no one in the middle that runs it. It's not a centralized organization. And what it means when I'm saying decentralized is that there are essentially a list of protocols that are standards for computers to communicate with each other. And that makes the internet. The internet is actually a list of protocols. Now the internet was for transferring data, for transferring information. Oh, so this is centralized, this is decentralized. So the internet is for transferring data, and that was an amazing technology, and we all know that when it came, it took them a while to figure out what it is. What is this internet? What can be used for? And if we were here, 95, we would talk about the internet, and we would probably talk about Netscape and Yahoo. We wouldn't even be talking about Google or Facebook or YouTube or any of those things because they haven't happened yet. It was just the beginning. And we are today in the beginning of a decentralized technology that allows not to transfer just information, but to transfer value. Now what's the difference between transferring information and value? When I transfer information, now you will have the information and I will have the information. But when I transfer value, it's very important that you will have the value and I will not have the value. Because the money should be, the currency, whatever asset that we're talking about should be subtracted from my account and go to yours. The way that it works, this is actually a classic ledger. This is how banks used to work with before computers. There's just lines, and whenever someone is doing a transaction, they add another line to the ledger. It's very simple, and it allows you to track the balances. This is how the ledger, it's hard to read, but this is how the ledger of Bitcoin looks like. It's actually the same thing. You can see that there is a transaction, and it moves from this address to this address, this amount. It's hard to read, but believe me, this is what's there. So Bitcoin was actually about, it was about a currency. Currency allowed people to trade. Even in ancient times, people were using currency like gold and stuff like that to trade in marketplaces, and it allows commerce. But as Karl Marx famously said, money is not just used for commerce, it's used for capital. And when used for capital is where people are actually not buying goods and services for the money, they are buying other currency, if you will, with their money, like stocks or bonds or whatever. And they hope that the value of the currency that they bought, of the paper that they bought, will go up faster. And what we're looking here is probably the first legal contract known to many. It's from the Sumer and 2600 BC. And you see I added a little logo there of the new technology called Ethereum. Ethereum is what I call is the Bitcoin 2.0. It is allowing people to transfer value to each other, but it also allows to create contracts, smart contracts that actually can hold value within the contract. So you can think about it as a contract with a trustee, with someone who can actually keep money as part of fulfilling the contract. And it's written in code, in a language called Solidity, and it allows people to form agreements. This invention of contracts actually is the basis for capital markets. This is what allows people to invest in other ventures. Everyone who raises money or invests money knows that there's a lot of paperwork into when you're dealing with capital, because you set up the terms of who gets what and when. Now Ethereum is a technology that allows you to do exactly that. We see a lot today, a lot of new companies, I would say new ventures, that actually raise money with a digital contract without even having a company. Companies that raising tens of millions of dollars and $5 million, $8 million, and we see that happening in front of our eyes. I would recommend everyone to Google the term ICO. I think this is a real disruptive technology for funding in general. It opens to everyone, everyone can invest, and the due diligence is done publicly, online, on the internet, so everyone can look into that, everyone can read on that, and a lot of money is invested in the world of cryptocurrencies in those new ventures. That's the last one. So, you can answer a question.
Okay. So, as a person who grew up in systems that every transaction is requires human interaction and trusted advisor to approve this transaction, how can we get managed to a world without any humans or without any interference or any other corporates that are standing behind these transactions?
So the way that it works in blockchain technology is that what you need to trust is the laws of mathematics. You need to trust that, that the computers will just do what they need to do, and you don't trust a specific one, because every computer that participates in this open network of blockchain is actually holding a copy of every transaction and every contract that was uploaded to the network. And people cannot fake transactions or contracts because they need to be digitally digitally signed. So without a digital signature, it wouldn't be possible. But with a digital signature, it's possible to know that a particular person has signed off on a transaction or offered a contract for investment. Then that allows you essentially to work in a decentralized way without having any middle party that actually processes all the transactions.
So what will happen to all the banks, the lawyers, and all the other...
So I think that what we're seeing today is something similar, like we saw in the ledger image before. You know, there used to be people that are calculating those numbers, and a computerized system is actually replacing a lot of human labor historically, so it's not the first time it's happening. And I think that lawyers can be, in one example, they can be arbitrators when people do not agree with each other, which is something that you can do with Ethereum. You can address an arbitrator to kind of resolve a dispute that you decide on in advance. So the ecosystem changes in terms of the structure and the organization that will take part in it. And I think that we'll see a lot of change in banking, in law. This is essentially a way to conduct civil law, to allow people to create contracts and perform deals with each other without having to trust each other, but just to know that what's right, what's in the contract, everyone can see it, so everyone can trust it, it's open, and you know that if I, for example, I buy something from you and we have a contract and I pay the money is now held in the contract and I cannot take it back. But you will not receive it until I approve that I got the product and service from you. And let's say you don't send me the product and I ask for arbitration, so there's a predetermined arbitrator that this question will go to him and he will decide. So it allows different kind of business. Okay, yes, good for insurance. Thank you very much.